Okay, so you've made your list of 20 different things from your life, and you've added some details to each one, and now you're going to be writing a more kind of polished piece out of it, just like the one that you read in the original presentation and may have listened to. There was that Diggable Planet song called Where I'm From, so both good examples. So the question is, how do you take all that stuff you have and turn it into poetry? Well, there's no right or wrong way exactly, but I can just show you what I did. So if you look at my box 1 there, I've got my running shoes, and I have 4 details about them. The details, I thought about like what things I remember most, or what do I see, what do I hear, what do I feel when I have them on. So I came up with a steady rhythm, because whenever my feet hit the pavement, I hear that sound. Underneath it says not used as often as I'd like. That's what I was thinking. I need to run more. Over on the other side I have sacrificial. That's because I use a pair till it's dead, and then I buy a new one. I kind of sacrifice them. And then caked in dirt or mud, because they often get dirty. So I take those details and I turn them into the line that's at the bottom. I'm from the beat up running shoes, caked in dirt that pound out the rhythm of my thoughts. So I didn't use all the details, I just used a couple, but what it did is it made my running shoes different from just any old running shoes. So that's kind of what you're doing with your detail. You're making it personal to you. Okay, another example. For my next line, I used boxes 2 and 3, which were the products that I associate with. One was my computer, one was my car, and they're both kind of old. So when I thought about how I could connect them in a line, I thought, oh, well, the MacBook, it says up there barely breathing, because it's very old, and sometimes it's amazing that it even turns on. And then with my Toyota, it says wheezes when it starts, because like sometimes when I turn the key over, it takes a second to kind of get started. It's not a great car. I mean, I love the car, but it's on its last legs. So in my line, I thought, all right, I'll link them because they're both kind of old and broken. So from the MacBook on its last legs, the Toyota that struggles to start on cold mornings. Again, I'm making it just so that this MacBook, it's my MacBook because it has some detail. The Toyota, it's my Toyota. It's not just any Toyota. So you want to do that with your lines, okay? Let's see what's coming up next here. Alright, so some tips. Refer back to the example poem by George Ella Lyon frequently. She's the original creator, so it's on the next slide. Tip number 2, start a new line whenever you repeat your phrase, so whatever phrase you chose, such as I'm from, or I come from, or something like that. That's when you can kind of start a new line. So break the old one, start a new one. Use the details that you added in each box. Those are what make the poem come alive. It makes it interesting to hear, okay? And then last, be confident in the fact that the story of where you come from is worth telling. We want to know it. Don't be shy about that. The more detail you pack into it, the better it is. It's not making it boring, it's making it awesome. Okay. So here comes the poem. I'll put the slides up there so you can pause them at your own pace. So here's the first half of it. So you can pause and get a better look at it. Here's the second half of it. So you can just see how she's putting her poem together. And you can listen to her do it on YouTube if you want. My version is on the next slide, the one that you heard. So you can pause it and check it out. You can imitate me if you want, in some places. Okay, next step, you are ready to record your poem if you're here. Means you've already written out what you want to have, what you want to say, your kind of final draft, and you're going to be recording it, audio style. About this, I just want to say poetry, spoken out loud, is one of the oldest forms of art or writing that there is. I mean, at first people didn't write anything down. They just had to say it out loud and pass it down from generation to generation. Eventually we started writing the stuff down so we could keep track of it better. But now that we have all this amazing technology, you can keep track of audio just as well as you can writing. So we're kind of back to a time when poetry spoken out loud is also just as valuable. So we're going to take part in that tradition of speaking your stuff aloud. Okay. Step 1. Decide on a voice recorder to use. For iPhone, it's just called Voice Record. Check if your phone has a built-in one. They usually have one. If not, you can download a free one. There's tons of good free ones out there. If you don't have any kind of device, then you may have to share with somebody or borrow someone's and record on theirs. I also have one voice recorder that I can lend out. Okay. Step 2 is find somewhere quiet to record. You can walk around the school to do it. You can even head to the courtyard if the weather's nice, and just ask for a pass from me before you want to go do that. And I'll give you a little pass to walk around and make your recording, so you don't have to do it in the lab classroom. Alright, step 3, try it out. Just try a first take. As you say the poem, you're going to realize that there are probably things that don't sound perfect. You may realize there are little changes that you want to make so it sounds better. So do that, just to do a first run through to see how it sounds. It's rarely the best one. The first take is pretty much never the best one. So just do one to get it out of the way and see how it sounds. Alright, once you have the recording that you want, you can add some extra sounds. This is optional. You don't have to do this, but if you want. I added music behind mine, as you heard, and some traffic noise as well. To do this, you need an audio editor. That's the thing. And if you have one at home that you like, you can always take your project home and work on it there. But if you want to use your phone, there's an app called WavePad. It's supposed to be good. And for iPhone, there's one called Hokusai Audio Editor. It's supposed to be good as well. WavePad's actually for both Android and Apple. So those are good audio editors that will let you put other sounds into it. So you can play around with those if you want. Alright, the last step, step 5, is get that thing to me. And this will have to we'll have to kind of figure this out together probably. But you're going to find the file in your phone, wherever your phone's storing it, maybe inside the app. There should be some symbol, some button to send that file somewhere. On the iPhone, it's that little box with the arrow. And that just means you want to send this thing, share it with someone. And when you do that, you can either email it, like attach it to an email to that address, my address, or you can upload it to some kind of drive or cloud and share it with me through that. Okay? I believe that's all I've got to say about this. But ask me questions, alright?